My stream in a special way. I've been building a guide on Steam, and my guide is uh, basically it's a solo hunting strategist guide. So I'm uh, I'm using a personal experience to develop a list of suggested or recommended um, uh, you know items as well as options for soloists to succeed in hunt. So um, playing in duos is fun, but sometimes for whatever reason you just want to have at it solo. Um, Cautioning those who might be thinking about playing solo, the game doesn't really reward solo play in the way that you would hope it would. Um, so by that, what I mean to say is, if you go and you do uh, any sort of combination of hold on a second, I want to show you guys this on the video, so I'll just go to play. If you go and do any combination of contract, you'll see that the rewards are no different, right? So you're literally just doing this for no other reason than, I guess, pride or boredom or something. It's kind of a torturous thing to do. You can tell it's obvious that Crytek is, by doing this, encouraging players to play together. They don't really want to have everyone run in as a soloist. It's not to their advantage, because in this day and age, playing together is kind of the ticket for making community and driving esports and those kinds of things. So you don't gain any benefit. In fact, they do incentivize double bounties for extraction. So, for instance, if you played with a teammate, you would get two. You would get 200 bounty for extracting, and there would be a bonus attached to it if you both were able to obtain the bounty. So that's why you see Grand Slam as well as running the gauntlet. Grand Slam only qualifies if you're playing with another player. Uh, Running the gauntlet only qualifies if you're playing with another player. If I go out and I pull off and I pull a single bounty token, uh, that means that I get the reward, but if I go out and get two bounty tokens as a soloist, it doesn't give me anything extra. So really, you're just doing this because it's a preferred way to play for you, or others others might just not be performing to your level. Like, for instance, the very first match I played, my partner went running, streaking through crows, and blew our cover instantly. So I was like, that's not how I anticipated playing this game. I thought it would be a more stalking, kind of silent, stealthy game. And so, to each his own. If you can find a partner to play with that you enjoy playing with, I mean, just Bob's your uncle. Do it. So, the way I've suggested itemizing is, you can see it in the guide, that there is a primary slot. There's basically, for soloists, you really need to pack a certain amount of, you can't diversify. It's not like you can say to your teammate, okay, you bring a shotgun, I'm going to bring a rifle, you bring the grenades, I'll bring the melee items, things of that nature. So you have to really kind of hybridize your guy to pick the most utility for what a soloist typically encounters. In the guide, I go over the weapons um, in the primary slot. But the short of it is that you want a mid to long range rifle in your primary slot pretty much at all times. The carabiner, the Winfield, are your kind of bread and butter. The Sparks is decent, except the one-shot thing is really, it's really a nuisance, and the reload time, small magazine, just kind of really hampers you. The Mosin is amazing. You should get it and use it if you can. And apparently the Dolch 96 Precision Pistol is a pretty good option, because it basically has really quick fire rate. and performs roughly like a poor man's mid-range rifle with a quick fire rate and 10 clip magazine size. So I go through all this in the guide, and today I wanted to address what to use in your secondary slot as a soloist. So I'm going to first go over the pistol selection one by one and kind of illustrate the greater themes, and then I'm going to identify the, I guess, top 5 picks or something like that that I would put in my secondary slot. This is all assuming that you're not using the quartermaster trait, which will enable you to pop a two-handed weapon as a sidearm. So just pretend for posterity here that you're not using quartermaster and you are packing a sidearm. So looking at our range of options here, we've got the Caldwell conversion chain pistol, which is really like 17 rounds, kind of quick fire rate. Basically the improvements over the Caldwell pistol are notable. It has basically double the capacity of the original Caldwell, which is a slow shooting single action 6-shot revolver. And this one is just the same gun with a lot more shots. So and the reload speed is a little slower because you obviously have to pop in a crap ton more bullets, and that takes a while. And these guns are useful basically at mid to short range. They're like your most basic pistol in their construction and everything. The Caldwell Uppercut is the same gun as the conversion pistol with a long, which takes long pistol bullets. So basically this is a hand rifle. So this thing will shoot long bullets, and they do a crap ton more damage. So as you can see here, that is like a one-shot kill for first-tier players. So if you have 100 hit points, that's going to kill you, or get damn near killing you if it's a peripheral shot. So this is a very powerful gun. In fact, it's the most powerful gun. The Nagant is it's a nice, faster fire rate, faster reload rate, but albeit a little shorter range gun than the Caldwell. Actually, I think the ranges are about the same. Yeah, actually, you can just do the comparison. So here's the Caldwell, and then the Nagant stats are in red below it. So you gain control on this gun, and the rate of fire is improved. I actually prefer the Nagant for the control reason. I value control over pretty much everything else, because as a soloist, you want to be able to make your shots hit as often as possible, because oftentimes your first shot is the one that is going to make or break your encounter with your opposition. And since you're up against duos, you want to kill someone right away, as soon as possible, because as soon as you have killed an enemy who belongs to a duo, you are now in a very advantageous position against the other player, because they are now tethered to that corpse. They need to go and revive their guy. And so you can pick your spot, choose wherever. You know that that guy is going to eventually, somehow, some way, return to revive his partner. So you have a tactical advantage in that you know he's going to eventually return there. And if you're on the receiving end of that situation, you know that you want to eliminate the guy who killed your friend before you approach that corpse. And it can take a long time to finish those exchanges if they go poorly for you. I have seen people just abandon their friend outright, and so that happens from time to time too. But anyways, just getting back on point here. The Brawler is the same as the Nagant pistol. It just has a improved melee and heavy melee damage, and so you can punch out a grunt with it with just a little bit more damage. Now the Nagant silencer is got a really, really high boost to stealth with a reduction in damage. So the bullet speed obviously gets mitigated somewhat by the silencer, but it makes no noise. So this is like the weakest pistol in the game. It really does very little damage. However, the ability to shoot with your opposition not knowing the direction that the bullet is coming from, as well as the ability to silently destroy enemy AI, basically grunts, dogs, banshee or hives rather, armoreds and whatnot. And perhaps the greatest use for it is the using it as a distraction tool. If you shoot a pack of crows from across the map, they will draw the attention of everyone around them and force them to look the other direction. This gun has extremely high utility rate. So rather than using it as something that you would like primarily want to use in a combat situation, you use it as a tool rather than necessarily as a weapon for killing enemies. The Dolch 96, if you look at it statistically, it's basically like a Nagant on crack. It's got a lot higher reload speed, so let's just do the straight up comparison. A little bit better damage, rate of fire. It suffers from some control issues, but otherwise it's all about getting more shots in. So you have 10 bullets that they come out of the gun like really quickly, so you can really clap away with it. But that being said, its lack of control is kind of like peppering the opposition. And so the Dolch 96 Precision aims to reduce that control problem that is suffered by this gun. So if you look at the Dolch 96 Precision, the two-handed variety, you can see a vast improvement in the control. And so for that reason, this is a very useful mid-range quote rifle because of that. So if I were to rank these in terms of usefulness, I would put the Nagant as a soloist. I would put the Nagant silencer at the absolute top of the list, head and shoulders above everything else, because to be honest, you're not going to be using your pistols in player versus player combat, and that is your main objective. That's your main threat in the game. The NPCs, all the AI, you can kite the bosses, you can avoid the enemies, and you can kill the enemies very quickly and easily. Now, all of these guns can do that job, but this gun particularly can get rid of the enemies and make you walk in a direct path wherever you want to go without making a peep. You can blow up the little lamps on top of the dog kennels and on top of the chickens, and it just kills them off. You can distract your enemy by shooting crows from a mile away. You can headshot a crow or headshot a grunt and just kill them, completely silencing them, and the enemy opposition would only ever hear the corpse drop on the ground. The hives can be dispatched with one headshot to their hanging head. The armoreds can't be dealt with very effectively with the silenced Nagant, but no other pistol can do that without making a racket either, unless you use a Caldwell conversion pistol, the uppercut, which does packs a mean punch, but I mean it sounds like an atomic bomb going off when you use it, so your position is immediately blown. So for me, the number one category gun for soloist is the utility provided by the Nagant M1895 silencer, because it has the best combination of stealth and range and damage, such that you can navigate and move quickly through the map without much noise. The second most, I guess, useful gun, since if you want to pack a more lightweight rifle in your hands, or you have designs on getting into heavy fights with some stiffer opposition, say you're in tier 3 and you need basically all the firepower you can get because everyone seems to have the full complement of 150 hit points, then yeah, you can pack the Caldwell conversion uppercut. That its price is what you pay. You pay a pretty price for it, but when you hit with that gun, it's going to end your enemy. It's gonna hit. But that being said, it suffers from magazine size, reload rate, and all that is really slow and not very fun. Then falls in the Nagant Brawler and the Nagant normal pistol, And finally, the Dolch fits in there somewhere. I haven't actually got to play with it, but you can tell by statistics that I would actually probably put the Dolch uh, either just below the Nagant Silencer. Yeah, so we'd say the Dolch would probably fall into the second slot for the utility as a soloist, or tied with the Conversion Uppercut. So Nagant Silencer and then Dolch 96 or Caldwell Conversion Uppercut, followed by the Brawler and the normal Nagant pistol, and then the Caldwell Conversion pistol in the last position. So that kind of covers the pistols and the chain pistol above the conversion pistol. That kind of covers the pistols, and now I'm going to go into the tools that you can use. So the quad Derringer, I've used it once. I can't, for the life of me, find a real use for this, except to say if you're not going to pack a pistol and you want one for some reason, this is kind of useful because you can really just take a whole bunch of shots. It's like a Hail Mary play. If you are heavy into gunfire and you are shooting a bunch of guys, you really want to pack like as many bullets as you can. The quad Derringer will be just another source of bullets for you, effectively. So you can pack more bullets. And I'm not really sure. I think they might be compact bullets, 12 additional rounds carried. And so the compact bullets would fall into your... you could use them, I would imagine, in your Winfield or your Nagant pistol. So, yeah, this is questionable utility. The knife is very useful. I pack one at all times. You can walk up to any grunt and kill it. 4 swings on an armored, 2 swings on a banshee, or a hive if you happen to run into one. They're just extremely useful. You can save your ammunition and deal with the grunts in the forest very quickly. Fusees work well when you have a boss in the basement and you want to light them up. They also provide some moderate ability to distract. The first aid kit is vital. You need to pack one pretty much every time, especially if you have physician as one of your traits, because then the first aid kit will actually heal you twice. It'll give you a maximum of 100 hit points in one heal, which is a huge thing. Just the other day, I had an amazing run where I used it in the middle of combat. I've hid behind a tree, came back in, and successfully beat a couple of players that had the relics, so it was good. The electric lamp is useful in night missions exclusively. I have very little use for it in a day mission, so I don't generally pack them because I'm not a huge fan of the night games, but if you're on the night games, you pretty much have to pack one of these things, because when you're indoors and you don't want to use your night vision, you can use this to successfully light up the place. The dusters basically fill the same... They kind of fill the same niche as the knife. I don't really see a point of having it. If you're going to go around killing grunts, the knife does a better job of doing it. I really don't see why these are in the game. It kind of blows my mind. I don't know. But if someone wants to leave a comment in the chat or on the guide comment section as a reasoning for me to suggest why the dusters might be a better solution than the knife, then by all means. But it was recently nerfed. I don't know. Maybe it's the attack rate, but I don't get it. Decoys, these things are questionable. I have thrown them around. They barely distract the AI. You have to throw them fairly close to get the AI to move on them. So if you're in a situation where you have an armored right in your way or something, you could probably throw that and kind of move past the armored, just to give you some time to get out of there before it starts to freak out and chase you. It's because of the frenetic nature of exchanging gunfire with enemies in this game. By that I mean player enemies. Using a decoy in the middle of a fight is it's super seldom. It's not going to happen that much. Personally, if you want to have a decoy or a distract type utility in your kit, the best thing in the game by a mile is to pack a silenced pistol. people respond to true environmental cues like crows and dogs and things that are blowing up much better than they respond to whatever noise is produced by the decoys. So, for instance, if you're fighting some guys at Scupper Lake and there is a pile of crows on top of one of uh, the buildings that are elevated off the ground, and you're in some shrub and you're like hiding, you could blast one shot at with the pistol at those crows, and all of a sudden their attention would be diverted for at least enough time for you to either get away or take them out. So I wouldn't really pack the decoys unless you just want to mess around, but at this point I think they probably need some tuning because they're not very useful. So I'm going to move on to the consumables. I guess in terms of ranking and priority order, I like to do this. Number 1, knife. Number 2, first aid kit. And every single other thing is kind of like whatever. I would put them on equal plane. Maybe throw fusies in there as for fun, but quad derringers, yeah, I don't even know if I would ever use this in combat unless I ran out of bullets in every single capacity and I was down to the bare bones. And even then, this thing does like weird shots. They don't come out all at once. They come out in some sort of 4-shot succession, and the bullets go wherever they go. The control on it is very strange. So you would basically just run up to someone and just Hail Mary shoot this thing and hope it worked out. So I put this somewhere, in equivalence with the dusters. So yeah, moving on to the consumables. Dynamite bundle, dynamite stick, firebomb, frag bomb, stamina shot, vitality shot. Big dynamite bundle, concertina bomb. I haven't used the concertina bomb, but I kind of feel like this is going to be kind of useless in the fray. Despite its high ranking order, I've watched the videos of its use, and I feel like if you were to throw a concertina bomb, it's more about area denial than it is about anything, and so it would be used, in my view, as more of not a killing device, but a saving your own ass device. You would throw the concertina bomb and deny some area for them. So, I mean, ostensibly you could throw it into an area and corner someone. So, for instance, if somebody goes in to kill the butcher and you're watching them from afar, if you launched a concertina bomb at the gate where they're kiting it out of, they would be totally screwed. The butcher would eat them alive in there, and the concertina bomb would chew them up if they was trying to get out. So that's one use for it that I can see as an offensive weapon. But for the most part, I think it would be about, these people are chasing me, I have the relic, I'm going to get out of here. Or you set a trap for someone who's going to come into a building and try and deal with them that way. But yeah, big dynamite bundle, that's just a really big freaking bomb. So if you want to pack these around, these are generally reserved for dealing with the bosses. Like this is a butcher killer. The frag bomb, this is basically, the range on this is really low, so I would, it's super kind of whatever. It's not a very effective device to use. I kind of avoid the frag bombs. So dynamite stick, dynamite bundle, if you look at them, they're the same. They all have the same range. Their just damage goes up. It's 1 stick, 3 sticks. So what is that? 6 sticks of dynamite. So doesn't take rocket science to figure out how they are used. These can be used in the middle of combat to some effectiveness. So these have usefulness in an offensive capacity. Same with the firebomb. You can deny area, but the firebomb you can deny area and light your enemies on fire. But the firebomb itself has a really good utility in that its primary use, if you pack a few of them anyways, is to eliminate one of the members of a duo. So if you kill a guy who is on a duo and his enemy friend is pursuing you, trying to, secure the area so that he can revive his friend, if you throw a firebomb on the corpse will not be able to be resuscitated. That guy will be eliminated from the server, period. So this is a great thing to pack for eliminating the threat of the revival of a enemies or an enemy duo. So, and if you don't know if somebody has a duo, which happens all the time, it's a safe bet to just light the corpse on fire just in case they started at different spawn points, or one of them is really far away and they're making their way there, or one of them's hiding until you leave. So I sometimes pack these around, but for the most part, I tend to just kind of use them sparingly. Far more useful are the shots. So the antidote shot I find completely and totally useless, except for the moment when you're dealing with a hive or something and you get chased by the bees. Those are kind of a nuisance, so maybe it's worthwhile packing these around if you have trouble like engaging or aggroing the hives too many times. But personally, I don't use these things ever. I don't even know if I've ever bought one. Stamina shot. The stamina shot has been known as an exploitative tool to drop the butcher in under 14 seconds. How in the hell does that work? You say, that sounds insane. There is this YouTube video floating around that shows the stamina shot used in conjunction with the cavalry saber or the machete or even the dagger. And so the idea is that if you want to destroy the butcher in under 14 seconds, you pop a stam shot and you melee engage the boss, and you can repeatedly stick him with your machete, knife, or saber without running out of stamina. So he perpetually winces in pain because the damage is really high from those strikes, and then you can basically lock him into this. It's like stun locking, but you're locking him into his like I just took damage animation, and so you can defeat him really quickly. The video I saw was a guy use the cavalry saber to kill the butcher. Now the other day I tried it with the stamina shot and it failed miserably, but I was using a knife. So if you want to try this out, use the stamina shot and go after the butcher on your own time. I recommend not doing that just because it's probably more risk than the reward, but if you can perfect it, I mean, go for it. I don't even know if it's been a problem or fixed or anything, so if you have some information on that you want to share, just comment in the guides comment section, or drop me a message on Twitch or whatever. The other options here, so I went over pretty much all the dynamites, the firebomb, the frag bomb. The frag bomb is kind of a joke. I think it's pretty stupid. I tried using it once. It was just extremely, it was just an extremely silly tool. It didn't have any range, and the entire idea of this item is that it's on a stick, so you're supposed to be able to bomb this thing. And I was fighting a guy. I was in the water and catfish something or other, one of the corners swamp, one of the swamp areas, and I threw the frag bomb, and it was like it didn't have any range, and it totally screwed me. I went out of my way to use it and throw it through a doorway, and it was like not even that far, and it couldn't make the arc was just too much. So the frag bomb needs to be tweaked because I think it's too weak for its price, and it really doesn't have any use. The dynamite bundle seemed to actually have the range that you would expect out of it, or the dynamite stick rather, and its explosion seemed to be more effective anyways. I use vitality shots. I load up on them. So in combat, when you're fighting players, the times where you get headshotted and eliminated outright are slim. Oftentimes you have the ability to, if you get seen before you see them, or your first shot misses and you're in a gunfight, the amount of times that you get hit and have time to go and run away, hide, and heal up is high. You have a much higher likelihood of that happening than being outright one-shot killed. So to pack vitality shots is just to extend the amount of time that you have to be in combat without being so messed up and wounded that you have to run away. They're also super fast to apply. So you can just run through the bushes, be in the trees, and just vitality shot yourself while you're doing this. I've been in a situation where I hid behind like a blade of grass and dodged left and right, and the vitality shot had sat back down and carabinered the guy in the head and won an exchange like several times. So to me, the vitality shot stands above and beyond in terms of usefulness of all the other consumables as a soloist. I guess stamina shot, I forgot to mention, will increase the amount of time you can run at full duration. So if you need to make a break for it after you obtain a relic and you have a long run on your hands, so say for instance here, let's get a map up. Say for instance you have an evac point here and an evac point on the other side of the map. And the relic is here, so you killed the butcher here, and everybody expects that you're going to go here. And so they're all kind of holed up in the area waiting for you to leave the building, and you're just like thinking that you're going to get blown to pieces if you walk out to try and get to this evac point. Some people will just say, to hell with it, I'm going to make a run for it. Well, if you stam shot and run for it, you will gain speed and distance over everybody. You can outrun mobs, you can outrun people, and no matter what they do, they won't be able to catch you. So then you could get all the way across the map to the other extraction point safely and gain such amount of distance on them with that you would have the requisite 20 seconds or so just to get out. And I've seen that before. Like if I sense that an evac point is hot, I'm not going to go right to it. So often I'll switch it up, but then you often wonder whether or not you're going to be caught on the way, because some people take more direct paths, and some people can they have their what's the trait called? Greyhound, I think trait. Greyhound, yeah, sprint at full speed for a longer duration. So maybe someone has Greyhound and they're going to catch you. Well, if you use a stam shot, you can just sprint full speed for a long time, and that can be very useful. So I should have mentioned that. So I use vitality shots. Sometimes I bring fire bombs to eliminate, extinguish, or just basically eliminate duo corpses if I suspect there's another person around. I never buy antidote shots. Even against the spider, it's just easy to get out of her green cloud and go back and attack her from somewhere else. So there really is no sense in picking up an antidote shot. I can't find a use for it in the game. No one's going to be roaming around just wondering like, oh man, I'm poisoned for so long, let's antidote shot. It's not worth the slot. Like if you just wait it out, the poison goes away. The bees are probably the worst in the game for this, or the locusts or whatever the bugs they are. Dynamite sticks I would put in my third slot, or second, probably tied for second. Basically, I would go first place vitality shot by a mile. Second place would be all the dynamites and fire bombs. Like those would be, and whatever, the bigger the better. If you can afford it and want it, pick it up, go for it. Then I would place the concertina bomb, and after that, I'd pick up. If in a ranking order, I would put the frag bomb and then the antidote shot. So going again from 1 through, so vitality shot is in first place. Firebomb, dynamite stick, dynamite bundle, or big dynamite bundle, all second place. Stamina shot, third place. Concertina bomb, fourth place. Frag bomb, fifth place, and then antidote shot, sixth place. That's the ranking order that I would put the consumables. So there you go. I've done the ranking of the pistols, where I have the Nagant way up at the top, followed by the Caldwell conversion uppercut, followed by the Dolch, followed by the normal Nagant pistols, followed by the conversion chain pistol, followed by the Caldwell. The tools, I've put the knife up there with the first aid kit as the top choices, and virtually everything else is kind of Mickey Mouse. I wouldn't even add it unless you're in the dark for the electric lamp and you need it at nighttime. Decoys don't work so well. Knuckle dusters, worthless. Fusees, that can be fun, but really, I mean, I've used it like twice. Like, I think it's the slaughterhouse that you go to, and there's a basement that's really dark. You can light it up, like, congratulations, you can now see the boss a little easier. But the bosses are pretty easy anyway, so I don't really usually have a problem with them, even in the total darkness. You can find ways to kite every boss with relative safety. Um, and yes, the consumables. So to sum that up, I've got the vitality shot at the top, followed by the dynamites, and then the stam shot, followed by the concertina bomb, and then the frag bomb, and the antidote shot. So there you have it. That's my ranking of the one-handed secondary type weapons, the tools, and the consumables. So I'm gonna actually put this as a stub video on my guide. So if anyone wants to watch it, they can. I hope that wasn't super boring. Now I'm gonna actually just play the game.